Welcome back to Mama's Nest. Mama's Nest is proudly powered by Customs Baby, makers of child skincare products to support moms on their motherhood journey. Before we went on the break, we were discussing early pregnancy, some of the signs and symptoms, some of which may go noticed or noticed, and effective coping strategies. I still have with me here Dr. Sofiat. Thank you, Dr. Sofiat, for joining us once again. Consultant OBGYN. And Kemi. How are you doing, Kemi?
Great, thank you.
So we're delving further into the discussion of early pregnancy. Some of the signs, the symptoms, many of which go unnoticed. I think most of them go unnoticed. But tell us, Dr. Sophia, what are some of the foods that a newly pregnant woman can eat to give her a soft landing into the entire process of pregnancy?
For pregnant women, in as much as it's they have some nausea and vomiting during the first trimester or during the early part of pregnancy, it's also advised that they should try as much as possible to eat healthy food.
Healthy food.
Because the healthy eating is what is going to sustain them throughout the pregnancy.
And also the baby.
And also the baby. So we advise them to eat most food, but there are some food that we advise pregnant women to not eat, stay away from, especially during the earlier part of pregnancy, because during the earlier part of pregnancy, that is when all the organs are forming. So you have they are laid down, even though they are not fully formed, but the things that are going to form them are laid down during those periods, like the heart, the spines and all that.
Yes.
So we advise that there are some food that should not be eaten at that time. So most food can be eaten, like I said, but food that are very rich in vitamin A should not be eaten, especially liver.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because liver...
And I was craving liver. I craved offals when I was pregnant.
Yeah, so liver is actually something that we tell pregnant women to stay away from, because it has a very... they have high quantity of vitamin A. And vitamin A has been shown to make to cause teratogenicity, like they can cause abnormality in the baby. So they can actually have abnormality either in the heart, in any part of the body.
Wow.
Yeah, so even eat everything, but at least avoid food that are rich in vitamin A during the earlier stage of pregnancy. So because there's actually a quantity that you can actually eat that is good, but because you cannot really measure like the dose, like how many grams it's in a particular one that you are eating. So that's why you should just stay off liver, while you are pregnant. Then early on too in pregnancy, it's also very good that I'm sure even before you get pregnant, like there are some things that you should be taking before you get pregnant. For example, folic
when
acid,
you're planning to get pregnant,
like 3 months before you get pregnant, it's actually advised that you should take folic acid.
Omega-3?
It's also good, but folic acid is actually the main thing, because folic acid has been shown to help reduce, abnormalities in the baby's spine. So you have some babies that are born and they have defects in their spine. It's not closing. So those are the babies that they are not able to, because their spinal cord has been exposed for long, they are not able to walk. The spinal cord are damaged. So if you take folic acid in the earlier part of pregnancy, it can actually help you prevent all these abnormalities. Even when you eventually get pregnant, even if you didn't take it before you got pregnant, if you still start taking it once you are pregnant, it can also help prevent those abnormalities. So all foods in pregnancy you can take, but stay away from those ones that are rich in vitamin A, liver especially.
I think that God is merciful, because there's some of this information that's liver, I didn't know about staying away from liver. Nobody told me. Foods rich in vitamin A, or did they tell you? Were you aware?
No, those are the those are the things that
a professional would actually advise.
They're actually involved. You are supposed to have, pregnancy is not something you should just jump into
or take lightly.
Exactly. So before you even get pregnant, you are supposed to have what we call a preconception counselling. So in this part, that is it's before pregnancy. So you go and see a doctor like, okay, now I am planning to get pregnant. So they are like, okay, fine. They look at things that are not right with you. Maybe you have some conditions, you have some things that need to be sorted out before you go into the pregnancy. So it is in this clinic that you are told all this thing. But you know, more than 50% of women, all of us just find out that we are pregnant. It's not something we plan.
Right. A lot of women
it's not something we plan. Exactly.
And even for like a few weeks into the pregnancy, they don't actually even know. So they're still a bit careless about their.
But you know, the good thing about the early stages of pregnancy, like, I think God has been wonderful in that aspect, because sometimes in the early part of pregnancy, when you take things that you are not supposed to take, so we have what we call like an all or none effect. Like if you take, for example, this medication is not good for the baby. If it's not good, if it's going to cause an abnormality, the body has a way of like, you know, you can just have a miscarriage. You don't know why you had a miscarriage. So sometimes those things, like, you know, when I see moms and they've had a miscarriage and they are crying because it's a baby they've always wanted. And I keep telling them that, please don't cry. This is like a blessing.
Being protected
exactly, because most of those babies that actually miscarry earlier on are babies that would end up having some form of abnormalities. Do you get? Probably some abnormalities. So the body just detects that, okay, there's an abnormality in the baby's forming, and then it expels it. So like miscarriages earlier on in pregnancy is like a blessing in disguise. But you cannot tell a pregnant woman that you are pregnant for 8 weeks and then she has a miscarriage and you're telling her, please don't cry, it's a blessing.
It's a sad thing.
It's sad, but those are the things. So sometimes when you take medications earlier on, like some of us take medications, antibiotics, drugs
that we shouldn't be taking.
That is why they say, like, a woman that is in the reproductive age group, like, you know, you can actually get pregnant.
It's not every time.
Exactly. You should always know that you are not pregnant before you take those drugs, because most of those drugs can actually cause some form of abnormalities in the baby.
Okay, that's really interesting. Like, seriously, I'm learning most of these things for the first time. That's why I said God is very merciful.
Yeah.
There are women that they take in, they don't know. Some people, even 3 months into the pregnancy, they don't experience any signs.
But you know,
they don't know that they're pregnant.
Exactly.
And they just keep living carelessly. Some people even drink. Some women even take alcohol, which is also very bad for the baby. So it's I just think it's the mercy of God, really.
It is actually, because there are some things that we've done knowing or unknowingly while we are pregnant, and then we still go on to have healthy baby.
And God
some
just
people are not so
from,
lucky as
yes, you're right. So Kemi, were there any sleeps during?
Okay, so I think maybe I might have been pregnant, then I had a glass of champagne.
Hey, right? Kemi, no wonder.
It was a celebratory mood, right? And then when I knew I was pregnant, the first thing I told my doctor was like, I had alcohol.
Oh, he said, what did
you confessed? I said, there was a meeting, it was a success. I had a glass of champagne. I was like, go and sleep. That's not what we are talking about. It's talking about people that deliberately drink alcohols and all of those things. And then you hear that zobo, pineapples, all those fruits that are not healthy for what is
I
it
think
called?
Maybe taking in excess.
In excess. That's what my belief is, that if you take just a slice of pineapple, doesn't mean it's going to hurt the baby. Right, but at the end of the day, it depends on the physiology of the mom. Right.
So is there any medical backing to that?
Coming to that zobo drink that she talked about, you know, it's been shown that there are actually some ingredients in zobo. I don't know the particular one, but you know, they mix a lot of spices together. You know, some of these are medications, they're actually made from herbs, you know, it's just a refined form. So there's some evidence that the ingredients in zobo, some of them may cause some kind of uterine contractions.
And also pineapple. I heard of pineapple too.
That's why it's advised that pregnant women should, like you said, small quantity, it's fine, but not something you drink in the morning, afternoon and night. You understand? Yeah. Anything in small quantity is never too bad, but not alcohol anyway. So, but
I feel like for the zobo is because, you know, most people make their zobo with pineapple, with lots of pineapple. That's my belief, though. That's what I feel.
No, it's the spices.
The spices. And then
spices.
there's cinnamon,
pineapple has
that,
a different enzyme in it.
That causes... I think pineapple also causes uterine contraction.
Yes.
So some of those things,
and then
they just
some people
have,
say pepper soup also.
It's the spices,
it's the spices
actually.
in it.
Even pepper soup.
So I feel like if you make the pepper soup in your home and you know that the only thing you added is just the pepper soup spice.
And you pay attention
just
to the spices you put into it.
You might be able to take it. But if you say you want to go outside and buy pepper soup, it's not something that I would advise. I didn't have pepper soup all through the period of my pregnancy.
You were careful about...
I was very, very careful. I didn't have pineapple at all because I had some medical challenges and I didn't want anything that would trigger it. And when I started craving zobo was towards the end of my pregnancy, and I gave birth before I could even taste zobo. So it just feels like understand the physiology, right? If you ask your doctor and your doctor says, I don't think you should have zobo, he knows what he's saying. He or she knows what he's saying. Some people might have a shortened cervical length, that any small thing could cause a possible threatened abortion or what's it called, early delivery and all of those things, leading to premature babies, right? So if you that in a situation of somebody that has a shortened cervical length, now start taking pineapple, right? It's just like you just want to born your baby before the due date. So know your body physiology, speak with your consultant, understand, is this okay for me? If the person says it's not, just listen to your doctor.
Okay. Dr. Sophia, you mentioned taking folic acid when you know that, okay, I'm ready to have a baby. But what other supplements do you think, or vitamins or nutrients do you think are important that for a pregnant woman?
So basically, for you to prevent any abnormalities in the baby, folic acid is actually something that is universally agreed that you should have at least 3 months before you get pregnant. You understand?
And during the term.
During the pregnancy, that's what is acceptable. That's like the only prenatal vitamins that you should take before pregnancy, because it can help with the development of the baby.
And it also helps with fertility, I heard.
No, it has no...
I heard.
I'm just telling you now, that's why. We are not talking
we hear a lot of things, and that's why we're here, to be able to debunk what is true and what is not.
We are talking early pregnancy. Let's stick to early pregnancy.
I think it helps with the formation of the baby. More, it's more for
it's
the
actually
baby
for
and
the neural, this, like I said before, it helps with the formation of the spine, the spinal cord, the closing and everything. So if there is enough deficiency in the folic acid, or you don't have enough or anything like that, it doesn't make the spine close. So the spine is kind of exposed. Sometimes you can even have babies that have brain abnormalities, you have these babies that are born with big head, and it's water that's in the head.
So that could be one of the...
It could be one of the... There are many, these abnormalities in babies, they are multifactorial.
Yeah, so
you understand? You cannot say that, okay, maybe
things.
because I took something while I was pregnant. There are so many things that could be the reason. You understand? It could be the baby itself. The baby, sometimes, we are all made up of chromosomes or our genetic makeup. Maybe if there's a defect in the baby's genetic makeup, the baby is prone to having some other things. So it might not necessarily be that it's just a nutrient. So there are many factors that could be responsible for it. Yeah,
that's why it's important to pray. When you're ready to have a baby, it's important that you pray, because I mean, you have a baby growing inside of you. There's so many things you can't see.
Exactly.
Sometimes there are some things that a scan cannot pick up, but you just pray about it. Really, just pray about it. All right, thank you. It's been quite informative and educational so far with you ladies. But we need to take a quick break, and we will be back shortly. Please don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We're still on Mama's Nest, proudly powered by Cussons Baby, makers of child skincare products to support moms on their motherhood journey. We've been having discussions around early pregnancy, the first trimester, and Kemi has shared her experiences. We've also had expert advice from Dr. Sophia. But we've also established that every pregnancy is different, totally different, and it differs from person to person. My sister has had 2 kids, not one single stretch mark on her body.
Fantastic.
I never used to have stretch marks, but I do now because I've been through 3 kids. So obviously your body has to, or your tummy has to enlarge to accommodate the baby. But tell us, is there anything at all? Did you get stretch marks as well?
A
Tell me you
little.
did. Tell me you did.
I got a little towards
Just
the end
a
of the
little.
pregnancy.
Okay. And do you still have them?
You know, I'm still fresh out of delivery. Let me use that word.
That's
so
true.
my body is still trying to get itself back to its original place. But you can ask me again in a year time.
I will. I definitely will. I'll follow up on that. Is there anything at all? Tell us, Dr. Sophia, like anything at all, we'll do it. Women dread stretch marks so much. Was there anything at all we can do to like prepare the skin for that expansion?
Okay, so stretch marks, I actually, like you said, as a result of the skin stretching, you know, stretch mark is not just peculiar to pregnancy.
It's not actually.
So it's from adding weight, children growing and they are becoming bigger, and you have stretch mark, and maybe because also in pregnancy you have a lot of hormones that, like I said, pregnancy affects every part of the it jumps from your head to your tummy. So normally what happens with stretch mark is that, you know, the skin has different layers, right? So is the inner layer, as you are getting bigger, the skin is stretching, you have a break in the inner part of the skin. So that's what you now see on the outer part as stretch mark. So why your sister did not have stretch marks? So some people's skins are more elastic than others. So you can have a skin that is very elastic. So even when the skin is stretching, it's not making any breaks. It's not breaking, you know. So that would probably explain why your sister did not have stretch marks. But for stretch marks is like, it's been women's I don't know, nightmare. Like we have been looking for solutions to, you know, stretch mark. But one thing is that because the skin is stretching, if you do proper moisturizing of the skin, you know, there are different moisturizers that you can use. You have oils, you have moisturizers. It might not completely not make you have stretch marks.
It might not be as obvious.
Yeah, but at least it may, you know, make it a bit better or something like that. But there's actually been no treatment that I can really say, yes, this is the treatment that actually works 100%.
So there's no proven treatment.
No proven treatment, but you can actually just care for your skin.
Now I'm getting some closure.
Yeah, you can get so don't worry. Even me, I have stretch mark from, you know, the tummy expanding from deliveries and all that. So over the years, it gets, you know, it fades. It gets better, lighter, you know. And there's this saying, like, you know, when you are pregnant and then you keep scratching your tummy, they keep telling you, don't scratch it. I don't think that's what actually causes it.
I also don't think that's
I didn't want to risk it. The moment I start feeling the itch, I started, oh God, you think my tummy was, I was pouring oil on it. And it does relieve the itch, actually. So that's why I feel like maybe it's true. Maybe the itch is what leads to stretch mark.
Is not what actually causes the stretch mark. You know, like I said, the skin is kind of expanding, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can imagine your tummy that was this flat before, and then a big baby is growing inside. The skin is expanding, coupled with all the hormones that are causing some changes. So I think the only thing you can actually do is to pamper your skin. You know, some pregnant women, when they are pregnant, they don't rub cream again. Their skin is so dry. Maybe because the cream is irritating or something, but then the skin is dry. So you need to use.
Or maybe they have other concerns.
Exactly. You know, some creams too. Maybe you have some things that are maybe not good, but at least you could use baby-friendly creams. I'm sure those ones are the mildest things you can actually use. You can actually use it on your skin, and they may make the skin more elastic, and then you may not be prone. You would definitely have it, but maybe a bit.
But it might not be as
not very bad, but at least yes.
It might not be as
so prominent. Good skin moisturizing.
Good skin moisturizers.
Exactly.
The Cousins baby has a full range of moisturizers, baby oils, baby lotions. So while you're shopping for your baby, and don't forget, please, mothers, don't forget to, you know, pamper yourself a little. take some of that baby lotion. You can launch it for the baby. Take some of that baby lotion, moisturizer, moisturize your tummy. It's so, so important. But there's also stretch marks on the hips.
Everywhere.
So
it can happen
everything
everywhere,
is just, everything
can happen
is breaking.
on your hand, your thighs, your tummy, anywhere you have skin, you can actually have stretch marks. But it is commoner in pregnancy to have it on the tummy, because that is where the most stretch is occurs. Like the baby is growing, the tummy is expanding. So like you said, moisturizing is key. Keep your skin moist. Don't let it dry, because if it's too dry, it's easy to break. Yes.
I barely had stretch mark, because when I started the itch, the old myth of when you're itching, stretch mark is about to occur. So I just started oil, morning, afternoon, night.
I think that probably helped.
Maybe it did. It did, because from what she has said, moisturizing helps reduce the cases of stretch marks, right? It reduces the amount, or it's supposed to. It's supposed to reduce the cases. Well, let me say it worked for me, because maybe my stretch mark would have been more than that. I could just have bare faint lines here and there, and all of those things.
But apart from times where you were itching, did you take time to moisturize properly?
Oh yes, like what I was told was that the moment you start itching, you're about to start having stretch mark. So from then till birth, I made sure that even if I don't moisturize my whole body, my tummy is important, because we have to wear crop top later now.
That's very important.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, beautiful ladies. It's been such an eye-opening discussion on early pregnancy, very informative, and I've had fun with you ladies on set. And also, thank you, our audience. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget that you can ask any questions. Simply send it as a comment or send it as a message to any one of our social media handles now scrolling on your screen. You can also like and follow our pages while you're at it. Don't forget, you can also download the Mama's Nest app. It's available for Android and iOS. Join us next time on Mama's Nest, proudly powered by Cussons Baby, makers of child skincare products to support moms on their motherhood journey. Mom, you can do this. I'll see you next time. Bye.